fourth graders. It's Mr. Bentley here. I'm super excited to be teaching with you guys, and we're going to be looking today at symmetry as we continue to explore geometric figures. So today we're going to try drawing and recognizing lines of symmetry in two-dimensional objects and shapes. So we're going to be able to not only find those lines of symmetry, but be able to explain what they are and why it's important. So when I think of symmetry, I think back to when I was a little kid and I got to do a bunch of these spot the difference activities. So go ahead and take just a couple minutes and see if you can spot the differences between the two cowboys. Go ahead and pause the video right now and take some time to try finding those differences. I'll do it with you. Alright, how many differences did you find? I found 10. You might have noticed the cactus is missing in the right one. Maybe you noticed part of his scarf was missing, or his finger wasn't pointing out, that his eye color changed. Maybe you noticed that he's missing a tooth. Now look at these next set of photos. What do you notice about them? You might notice some lines of symmetry. But what is symmetry? Symmetry is when a shape has a central dividing line with both sides of the shape being identical or mirroring one another. We can see how the water here helps reflect and mirror that tree that's on the land. Maybe you saw these lines of symmetry in those pictures above. So here we can see that symmetry isn't just something we study in math class. Symmetry is something that's in the real world. So to help understand and grow our understanding of symmetry, we're going to go ahead and do a symmetry activity where we're going to take some shapes and we're going to fold them in different ways to find those lines of symmetry. So you'll need just a few things. You'll need some graph paper. I got some right here. You'll need a circle you can trace or a compass. I have with me just a little pin that I traced on the graph paper. You'll need a pencil and you'll need scissors. So go ahead, pause the video and go ahead and make sure you have all those supplies ready to go, and then we'll get started. Alright, now that you got all your supplies ready, go ahead on your graph paper, draw the following shapes. I have a square, then a rectangle, I have kind of an X looking shape, an equilateral or triangle, a circle, a house, a trapezoid, and then two weird geometric shapes, and then in the bottom left corner I have a hexagon. So go ahead and draw those and go ahead and cut them out when you're all finished. Please pause the video and then hit play when you're ready to begin. So now that you've cut out your shapes, go ahead and start folding those shapes along either halfway, long ways, diagonally, and try folding them in all sorts of different ways to see if you can find lines of symmetry. Go ahead and explore that with each of those shapes. And then on a separate sheet of paper, go ahead and jot down this little table where it has each of those shapes listed and then the number of lines of symmetry. Alright guys, go ahead and pause the video and start folding. I'll be doing this activity with you and then we can compare. Alright, pause it now guys. Alright, where did you find those lines of symmetry? You might have thought to fold the square in half and in half again, but did you think to fold it diagonally? Did you see that it has a line of symmetry? Did you see the triangle had 3 lines of symmetry? What about some of those weird geometric shapes? Did you notice that they don't have any lines of symmetry? Now what about the circle? That was kind of a weird one. Maybe you notice that you could fold it in half and then rotate it just a tiny bit and fold it in half again and rotate it a little bit more. Maybe you got 10 lines and 20 lines. You could have kept on folding it and making each line of symmetry so small, but you would have been able to have yet another line of symmetry. So we call that having infinite lines of symmetry. And maybe your paper looks kind of wrinkly because you folded it so many times. So why study symmetry? So symmetry shows us how one part of a shape relates to another and how we can use that information to understand the shape better. We see, especially in those first examples, how symmetry applies outside the math classroom to organic and inorganic shapes. We see symmetry in like the square, the circle, the triangle, but we also saw it in the dog picture earlier, or the building, or the basketball. And then we use symmetry to see how these parts and characteristics of a shape relate to one another. We can relate lengths, interior angles, perimeter, area, and later even volume. So if we looked at like our square example, we know that because we have a line of symmetry going vertically, we know that the left side of the shape is the same length as the right side of the shape. We can also do this with interior angles. We saw with the rectangle how we had 90-degree angles on the top left and the top right. Since we have that horizontal line of symmetry, we know that the bottom left angle and the bottom right angle will also be 90 degrees. And then perimeter and area. If we find the perimeter of half the shape and know that we have a line of symmetry, we can just double that perimeter and then later even double the area because we know that where these lines of symmetry exist. Well, I hope this was a fun hands-on activity for you guys. I know I enjoyed folding those papers too, and I hope you guys enjoyed learning just a little bit more about symmetry. Thanks guys, and have a great day.